All right, guys, welcome back to Zando Football. Definitely appreciate the support. I have two comments on screen. One from 17 Pharaoh Speaks. Thank you for your support. He says, "Hey Zando, quick question. What is the video on Pat Surtain you were watching?" And I'm going to show you that clip later on in this video. And the other comment, I routinely hit the whole shot when people play cover two, and if they use the mid read incorrectly, then I hit the deep middle. I've been too scared to play cover two myself. All right, so this video will be part 4 in the course, and I'm going to get into what this is all about. And what I have on screen is the 7 defenders in cover two, and most notably the honey hole. Okay, you could see, look at the corner on the left and look on the corner on the right. All right, and if you look at this, everyone knows the honey hole. If you don't, it's behind the corner, but in front of the safety along the sidelines while playing cover two. So it would be around here and here, all right? And if you look at the difference, okay, this corner on the left is playing almost like inside of this go pattern along the sideline, while this corner rerouted to the inside and is syncing with this receiver up the field. And if I were to ask you which one would be harder to throw, obviously it would be here, right? Because now we have to put air on the ball, put it over the corner, but in front of the safety, it's a harder throw. As opposed to here, we could just rip one in the honey hole shot there, all right? Now I wanna show you something really quickly because someone else made a comment. I didn't grab that for the video, maybe I should have, where he said, look, I went and played cover two and I played the one corner, but all my opponent did was attack the other side with the honey hole, right? And we could take a look at the problem with the computer. I went over this in a previous video, but I'll be quick with this. As the corner on the outside, you want to collide, okay, funnel and sink, all right? So he wants to reroute this guy, but you want to do it to the inside. So he does get hands on him, but he forces him to the outside, which is not something you want to do in cover two because you're putting more stress on the safety, right? So you want this guy to be inside. Okay, we're trying to funnel vertical routes to the safety. This guy wants this guy to go towards the sideline, not inside, all right? But the computer consistently allows this outside release, and obviously that puts more stress, horizontal stress on the safety here, right? All right, but that's not the end of the road there. It continues to screw it up because after you reroute, okay, let's say you messed up, you got him, you didn't get it inside, you didn't force him inside. Well, now you're supposed to get your eyes on the number two. All right, supposed to get your eyes on the number two. And if number two is climbing vertical, then what you need to do is to sync with the number one if he's going vertical. All right, and again, as I always state, it's because you're trying to help out your safety. And what the computer does is it sits flat and it does not sync. And that allows the quarterback to rip a throw, more of like a flat ball, into this window or the honey hole. All right, now you can imagine if we did sync with this, all right, we could intercept a flat ball or knock it down, or it would force the quarterback to have to put more air on the ball. And more air on the ball in this section of the field helps out our safety because then our safety can then make a play on the ball. This is where with cover two, you really kind of want like a rangy safety. You know, I really can't think of a defense that wouldn't want a range safety, so maybe I shouldn't put it that way. So I went and I grabbed the other controller, and it's hard to do it with 2 controllers to show how we play cover two as the corner on the outside. Notice how we reroute him to the inside, and then looking at the number two, we see he's climbing, so then we climb and sync with this as well. Now, obviously, I would play this a lot better if I didn't have to do this with 2 controllers. I would be closer to the hip, and it'd be damn near impossible to fit a ball in there without 100% accuracy, all right? And that's what we want. We want it to where the throw has to be damn near perfect, and if not, we can make a play on the ball, right? But the problem is, as someone stated, well, then they just attack the other side because we can't use their 2 players at the same time. Okay, and you're correct with that. However, we're going to get into what this video is all about, and that's where we kind of disguise things, and we can also play off coverage in cover two, just like that. All right, so we're on the right, but the computer on the left, we're going to play off coverage cloud, and I want you to notice how it plays a little bit differently when when we do this. Now, obviously, there is a disadvantage to this because now we cannot reroute the receiver because you only have within 5 yards of the line of scrimmage to do that. All right, so once the receiver gets past this line, you can't reroute and put hands on them. That's illegal. All right. However, I want you to notice how the computer plays inside still, which isn't too bad when you're at this depth. And now we can't rip a throw for the honey hole there. All right. You can, but you have to be even more accurate because they have to wait for the receiver to bypass the receiver and they have to time it just right to fit it in that little pocket. So you could try this in the practice field and you will notice that it is far more difficult with off coverage by the corner to fit a ball in there on that honey hole shot. All right. Here I showed it against trips. So I went back. Let me go back a little bit. All right. So this is a 2x2 set. All right. And notice how it's a little harder to get that in there. All right. And one more thing I wanted to show is when you do this against a 3x1 set, so now it's not 2 receivers over here, the safety plays a lot more aggressively. He doesn't have to be as safe, and he doesn't have to midpoint 2 routes coming up the field. Okay, formations and where receivers are can change the way your safeties play on the back end, right? So I want you to notice how he plays a little bit more aggressively, like he leans more to the outside because there's only one receiving threat, okay? And this is why, I'll briefly get into this. This is why in a route combination, let's say a guy is right here and you're playing as the corner on the outside and you reroute this guy to the inside, okay? Well, you get your eyes on the number 2. And if you notice number 2 goes out or like an in-breaking route, okay, you don't necessarily have to sync with the receiver as deep anymore. And the reason why, again, we're thinking about the safety. When 2 goes out or 2 goes in, that's no longer 2 vertical routes stressing the safety. Okay, so in that situation, when 2 goes out or in, as the corner on the outside that your safety should be fairly safe dealing with 1 route up the field, which allows you to not have to sync with this anymore. You could leak off and play on a deep out from the number 2 and hopefully trap that, or get vision on the quarterback and do any of a number of different things. All right, but I want to get into what I want to transition to in this video. All right, so you could see with the 1 receiver over there, I want you to watch how the safety is definitely leaning a little bit more. Remember in the 2 verts clip, he was a little bit more inside and deeper, and he came late over to make a play on the ball, and it was too late with the honey hole shot there. All right, but now because there's only 1 receiving threat on this side, he's a lot more aggressive, and he leans more to the outside. Okay, so this is almost like a trap throw for someone to try to make in that little honey hole with only 1 deep route on that side. All right. But I also want to show you something here is when you play off coverage as the corner in cover 2, all right, I want you to notice how differently they play certain routes. All right, so I'm going to user the wall 2 player inside, and I'm going to make sure I don't do anything so we don't affect anything on this deep in route. All right, and we're going to show you how the normal cloud flat plays it. All right, so you can see all this space there. Now, obviously, in regular cover 2, it wouldn't be there with the drop from the wall 2. But now we're going to play with off coverage on the same route concept there. All right, and I want you to notice how our corner is going to squeeze. Notice how he's squeezing on the route, okay? So they play a little bit differently with off and man coverage, all right? So I put that clip in there where 17 Pharaoh Speaks wanted to ask, where did I see that video with Pastor Tan? And that's gonna tie into what I'm showing you with off man coverage. I'll go ahead and play the clip right now.
All right, so you're up top. I love this play right here.
Yeah.
Y'all sitting in cover 2. You can't see the safety. You're sitting in cover 2. Mm-hmm. Middle linebacker in cover 2 is opening up down to the left to the numbers. Mm-hmm. Would that indicate that's the strength that the defense is saying?
Yeah, so middle linebacker, he has middle read responsibility.
So he opens up this way.
Up.
Yeah, so that's telling me that's where the defense believes the strength is, because the running back is out here too.
Yeah, at 3. So because the linebacker key in 3. So basically, if 3 don't go vertical, he could sit in the middle drop.
And then you have
we in a 2 jam look, so it's 2 across the board.
2 jam, and then so you back up though.
Yeah, it's all about the disguise, man. You know, you see the safety down showing like he's in the 3.
Yeah,
like,
he's coming like a 3
down
robber.
like a 3 robber.
Or
like,
3 buzz.
Yeah, like a Rob Lee, you know, matching 2. But
yes, sir.
At the snap, we all dropping our zones, boom.
Yep.
And I'm acting like I'm carrying 1.
Yes.
Like I'm matching 1.
Yeah.
So now I know I'm in cover 2, so.
You slide them.
Slide down, acting like I'm covering 1, boom. Eye candy.
Pass that is going to be intercepted at the 38-yard line.
Eye candy. You think he sees it, but he don't.
Wow.
I think that's how you make more plays, sort of baiting QBs, you know, making them think something is there when it's not.
They'll start from the 24. Here's Hurts. He'll get this complete. That's A.J. Brown. Hurts to the air on first down. Now Hurts. Oh, a huge mistake late in the half. It is intercepted. And he
Instead of a main character, they've reduced this receiver to a
So shout out to Jordan in that last video. When we got in the game, he noticed my name, and you know, we talked it up a bit, and it was a great game. We went to overtime. I lost that game. His defense was tough, but you know, the whole point of this video was to show you that you don't have to sit in static, you know, cover 2 depth. Okay, you can play with off coverage on the outside with the corner. And I like to do that when I'm not using the corner on the outside, so we don't really give up that honey hole shot. And then you can also add this to disguising coverage. So this is going to tie into the next video where we're going to get into inverting coverages with this off look, because you can do a number of different things. As Surtain said in that video, you can make it look like with both of these guys being off here. All right, we could be playing cover 2. We could be playing some type of invert coverage where this guy is going to the flat and I'm playing deep half. We could be slinging the wall 2 to the flat and this guy is going to be the wall 2 player. I mean, this is where we get into like the NTTs and all of that as well. All right, there's a number of different things you can do, but when you mix and match this, if you don't want to be a pure cover 2 guy, you can mix and match this stuff with some of your cover 3 stuff, some of your single high stuff. Okay, and it's just a way to get your opponent to start making mistakes, especially when you're using the corner on the other side. We can make this not look like cover 2 at all, especially with us moving around, playing the split flat deal, splitting the 1 and the 2, playing off coverage as well. Okay, there's a number of unique things you can do in cover 2. So here I'm going to play cover 2 with off coverage on the outside there. All right, and he just fits it on a slant there. I believe he's going to go to no huddle, and then we're going to switch it up on the very next play. Okay, so here, what I'm going to do is I turn my deep half safety into a curl flat. All right, and then I'm going to use the corner, and now I'm going to play deep half responsibilities. And this is where we can do a number of different things as the corner on the outside. Right, we don't have to change the assignment of the corner if we're actually going to be the deep half player anyways, if we're going to use this guy. All right, but what you can do in that situation is now you have a different vantage point as a deep half player. You're not playing from depth. All right, so depending on the release of this receiver, okay, if he goes on a shallow route right away, all right, we can now squeeze the formation and almost look to play I don't want to say deep middle because you have your pole runner running up the pole there. Okay, but you could squeeze the second level looking for something coming from the front side. Okay, you don't have to drift off into space. On a different route combination, let's say we get something where this guy runs like a comeback. And there's a number of different things you could do because he should squeeze underneath that and you could just make sure you stay over the top of that. I think the biggest point of that, playing it this way, you want to make sure that you're eyeing something from the front side if this guy is not taking a vertical route. His route kind of dictates whether or not you can help out on the front side. Because what a lot of guys will do, they kind of abandon the backside receiver and they're really looking for the front side. And if they use this guy, it's because they want him coming on like a shallow route. So when they start doing that with the deep half corner, we can squeeze the formation and look to steal routes coming from the front side. All right, so I'll go ahead and play into this and you'll see my opponent runs the same route on the outside with the slant. And I think the shallow safety kind of confused him, so he threw it late, and that's where he threw it into a tight window where we were able to make a play on the ball. So last but not least, we're going to tie into the next video, I believe, which is where we're going to get into this invert stuff and how I play cover 2 against tight formations. Okay, I think I might do a formation theory video again because I think a lot of guys liked the last time I did it, maybe like 5 years ago. And I think a formation I will make the video on will be on these tight sets because it seems like every single year that this is all we get. You get bunch and you get tight sets, and guys have a lot of problems with it. All right. I got to tell you the truth. The last couple of years, I've had no problems with these tight sets. All right. I want you to watch this sweet interception we got with the invert. All right. So I was playing cover 2 throughout the entire first drive, and I'm still in cover 2, but I changed this guy into the curl flat, and now he's the deep half. And this is the wall 2 player. And I want you to watch this exchange we get here. Okay, and one reason why I like this on the weak side of tight sets is, again, if we get both of these receivers climbing inside as a deep half safety, we can, again, climb towards where the action is coming from the front side. All right. But my opponent's going to throw an interception here. Oh, also, now we can give this press look on the outside with the deep half safety. Because at the snap of the ball, they're going to see this guy sitting kind of flat. So they want to throw the seam, but it's not going to be there at the snap of the ball. It's all about disguise, throwing people off, not sitting in static cover 2, and then layering that with other coverages in your toolbox. So I think I'll leave it at that. Watch this interception on this out pattern. Just so clean, and we get points off of a turnover. I'll leave it at that. I hope you got something from this video, and I hope you keep coming back for more, man. Peace.